life is a game and you're meant to win the game when you know what you're doing. So she said that if you think it hard enough, it will become true. To begin with, I want to review this book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. This is my second time reading this book because it is that good. I read it back in 2022 and now 2026. So it's a very good book. So I'm going to review the book in chapters because it is a very thin book, but it has a lot of information that you need to internalize. So I don't want to do the whole book, to review the whole book. I just want to do chapter by chapter in videos, in different videos, so that internalize the book. So this book was written by Florence Scovel Shinn, and it was written 100 years ago. That's the fun fact about the book. It has been rewritten into this small book, but most of the original text has remained in the book. So the first chapter is The Game of Life. So our review of the book is that Florence thinks that life is a game and you're meant to win the game when you know what you're doing. So she said that most of us don't know what we are doing. We don't know what we want. And that is why most of our desires don't come to life. So in the game of life, I've highlighted a few things that I'm going to read out loud, and then we're going to talk more about them. So starts off by saying that Jesus Christ already taught us giving and receiving. From the quote that says, whatever man asks, he shall receive, whatever door he knocks on shall be opened, that verse. And another one that says, what a man sows, he shall reap. So it shows that we are all responsible for what happens in our lives. So another thing that we hear in the Bible is that the power of the tongue, whatever you say can materialize. All these things, she says them in the first chapter. So whatever man sends out in word or deed will return to him. What he gives, he will receive. So she also reminds us that kindness is what you want. You only get what you give. If you give hate, you get hate. If you give love, you get love. So she reminds us that whatever you give is whatever you receive. So if you receive bad things, maybe you need to look at what you're giving. Another thing she says that what a man images, sooner or later eternalizes in his affairs. A man can become a victim of distorted imagination. So here is also another thing that says that whatever you think, if you think it hard enough, it will become true. Like whatever image you put in your brain is a faculty. Your brain is a manufacturer of what you're thinking. So whatever you think, externalize or actualize in your own affairs. The imagination has been called the Caesar of the mind, and it is every day cutting and cutting the pictures that man sees, and sooner or later he meets his own creations in his outer world. So I feel like it's a bit scary because sometimes we have really bad thoughts and thinking that, oh, I was thinking this, it's going to become real, can be scary, but we need to, bring ourselves back and start thinking positive things instead of negative things. Start thinking positively, and positive things comes. Remember, whatever you give, you receive. Whatever you ask, you get. This woman loved a man, but the man had not noticed her, or somehow they could not be together. And this woman told her, if so-and-so is yours, you will not lose him. But if he is not yours, you will receive an equivalent of him. Because told her, whatever you do, you cannot lose what is yours. So if this man is yours, he will find you. but if he's not yours, you will get an equivalent. So she introduces another law that she calls the law of substitution, which is a right idea is substituted for a wrong one. Therefore, there's no loss or sacrifice involved. So when a particular woman who loved the man never got the man, but she got a new man who was better than the other one. And she did not feel loss at the end of the day because she got what she wanted, even if it was in a different person. Yeah, so she says there are three departments of the mind: subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious. The subconscious is simply power without direction. Yeah. So it is like steam or electricity, and it is what it is directed to do. It has no power of induction. So it is just power, undirected power. So you have to direct the power. The superconscious mind is God mind within every man, and it is the realm of perfect ideas. So, in short, if you're to look at it as a Christian, it is the Holy Spirit in everyone, the guide, the God in every individual. That is the superconscious mind. It is perfect. Everything within it is perfect. It is the superconscious mind. Yeah. So I wanted to tell you about the superconscious, subconscious, and conscious because she said that the subconscious mind is power without direction. And it also says the subconscious mind has no sense of humor and people often joke themselves into unhappy experiences. So there's a story here that where she says that there was a woman who had everything, but then she always said that, oh, one day I will end up living in a trunk. I'm afraid that one day all this is going to go and I'm going to end up in a trunk. And she did end up in a trunk, living in a trunk, because she said and said it and said it until it actualized. And that's why she says the subconscious mind has no sense of humor. Whatever you tell it, it does, it actualizes. There's a quote here by Catherine Ponder that says, desire is God tapping at the door of your mind, trying to give you the greater good. So desire, whatever your heart desires, is a way of God giving you ideas of making your life perfect, you know? So if you want to become a nurse and you want it enough, you go to school, you do everything, the idea of becoming a nurse or the desire of becoming a nurse was given to God to you so that it can actualize in real life. Because some people want to become what they want to become, but then they don't end up becoming because at the middle of the road, they give up. They think that maybe it's not for them. Yeah. So another thing that she says is when you're praying for something, you say, if it's God's will, may it happen. Because sometimes it is not God's will. So I think there's the same idea here, which is called divine right. If it is yours by divine right, maybe something like I want to move abroad. If it's God's will for me to move abroad, I will move abroad if I continue believing. And at the same time, if it's not for me to move abroad, I will not move abroad. So she says, divine right. She says, if something is yours by divine right, meaning it was yours from the beginning, before even time, it was yours. There's nothing that you can do. Okay, if you don't believe, then it's not become yours. But if it is yours, if you believe, you will get it. Is ready to give us the desires of our hearts. We just need to ask. Yeah, like have you ever wanted your friend to help you with work? Maybe they're just seated there, you're struggling to work and they're not helping you and you're wondering why they're not helping you. But if you ask them, they will gladly help you. So sometimes you just need to ask. You just need to not beg, you need to ask. You need to ask so that you can receive. Nothing stands between man and his highest ideals and every desire of his heart, but doubt and fear. When a man can wish without worrying, every desire will be instantly fulfilled. Fear is only inverted faith. It is faith in evil instead of good. We have heard this before. To have faith is to be sure of the things we hope for and to be certain of the things we cannot see. That is a Bible verse. The only thing that stands between you and what you want is doubt and fear. The moment Peter was walking on water, he walked on water because he saw Jesus walking on water and he knew it is possible for him to walk on water because Jesus was man. Jesus was man at the time. He was flesh, he was man. So when he started walking on water, he walked on water until he wasn't walking on water and he was sinking. Because why? He started doubting. He started asking himself, really? Am I walking on water? And then he started sinking. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. When you know what you want and you start going for it, the only reason you don't get it is because there's fear. There's insecurity, there's fear of lack, there's fear of failure, fear of sickness, fear of loss, fear of some degree. And you know what she calls it? She calls it fear is the faith in evil. When you give in to fear, you're having faith. For instance, every time we travel, You have faith that you will reach where you will reach because you have faith, right? But then when you don't have faith, you may not reach where you want to go because you are believing in evil, you're believing in accidents, you're believing in fire, you're believing in fights, you're believing in the you are putting your faith in the wrong thing. You're putting your faith in evil. So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to have faith in good. Have faith in the good. The good is you go to your destination well. So the only thing standing between you and what you want is doubt and fear. And when doubt and fear comes, we use the story of Peter. The moment he started sinking, it was the doubt and fear that he got in his heart, which was he started believing or having faith in evil. He was like, okay, not evil, but on the opposite of floating on water, sinking. He started having faith in sinking. He started sinking because he had faith in sinking. He was like, how? How am I floating when I'm a man? I don't float. No man floats on water. No man walks on water. The moment he thought that, he started sinking. So don't have faith in evil. Fear is inverted faith. It is faith in evil. So this term, I think it has a name where I think also many people do this. You think of something that you want, but then you start preparing for failure. I think it's called catastrophizing, something like that. I'll look it up. When you start looking for holes and trying to prepare for the worst, and you start worrying like, oh, what if I don't make it? Maybe you're going to school. What if I fail? What if I go to the exam room and I can't remember anything? What if I can't write because I'm so scared? What if? So many what ifs. And one man said, sometimes you worry too much and whatever you are worrying about may probably not happen, will probably not happen because it is just your imagination running wild. So those are the things that we're supposed to try and tame so that we can get the life that we want. So she reminds us that the subconscious mind is your servant. The subconscious mind is there for you. It is there to give you what you want. And she says, it is man's faithful servant, but one must be careful to give it the right instructions. Man has a silent listener at his side, his subconscious mind. Every thought, every word is impressed upon it and carried out in amazing details. It keeps cutting the way you want. It cuts your ideas and makes them possible, makes them actualize in real life. So you should be careful what you feed to your subconscious mind. If you keep saying, oh, I'm stupid, maybe you eventually become stupid because you have been telling your mind that you're stupid. Your mind is going to try and make what you thought to be real. So if you keep saying you're stupid, you cannot get anything in class, maybe eventually you will start not getting anything in class. So you should affirm yourself every day that you are smart, you're smart, until eventually your mind starts believing that you are smart, and then you are. So also talks about having a hunch, and probably a hunch is kind of your purpose in life, or if it's not, purpose in life is a bit too wide, but it can be something that you're supposed to do in this season. For instance, maybe you're supposed to be a doctor, so that could be a hunch. Before you become a doctor, you have that thought, that desire to be, so you act on it. If you don't act on it, it will not actualize, because what you have learned in chapter 1 of the game of life and how to play it is what you send out in word or deed will return. What you image will soon actualize. If you don't get what you want, you will receive its equivalent. Desire is God tapping into your mind's door. Wish without worrying. If it's for you, you can't lose it. If it's not for you, you get its equivalent. And fear is only inverted faith. It is faith in evil. Yeah. So I think that's it for chapter 1. We'll go next chapter 2, and I'll attach the book in the description so that you can read. This book is amazing. You have to get this book. You can print it out. From the PDF that I'm going to leave there, or you can follow along. I'm not saying enough. I cannot say enough. Every word in this book is very important, and I just said a few words, so the video is not too long. So bye.